After carrying the entire team, I watched the promotion go to my boss's son who couldn't read a production schedule. I resigned quietly. Within days, contracts started dropping. My boss ran around the floor panicking, yelling, "Where is he?" right as the board demanded a full explanation. 7 years. That is how long I ran that floor. Not managed it from an office. Actually ran it. I knew which vendors to call before 6 a.m. or they would push your order to the back of the line. I knew which clients would pull their contract the second a shipment arrived a day late. I knew which machines ran hot on cold mornings and needed extra time before you pushed them. None of that lived in a manual or a shared drive. It lived in my head, and for 7 years that was fine with everyone. My boss, Linda, was good at two things: taking credit in meetings and protecting her son. Derek had bounced between departments since she hired him. Shipping tried him for 4 months. Procurement lasted 6 weeks before the manager quietly requested his transfer. He spent a stretch in receiving where he signed off on the wrong grade steel because he did not want to make a vendor wait. That mistake cost 11 days of production and a formal client complaint. Linda blamed the receiving supervisor. When the promotion was announced, Linda called it a bold new direction. Derek stood at the front of the room nodding like he had been preparing his whole life. A few people clapped. Most looked at each other. I shook his hand and meant none of it. That night I typed a 2-sentence resignation, effective in 2 weeks. The 2 weeks were quiet on my end. I finished every handoff document and made sure the people doing real work had what they needed. What I did not do was volunteer anything extra to Derek. He asked me twice to walk him through the routing system. I told him I had sent a full document on day 1. He said he would get to it. He never did. Week 1, Derek rerouted a $380,000 order to the wrong distribution hub. He sent components 3 states away to a facility with no connection to that client. I watched the email chain from my desk. Said nothing. Not my job anymore. Week 2, the Callahan account called. 15 years with the company. A standing order requiring weekly confirmation calls, and they were not quiet about what happened when those calls did not come. Derek had missed 2 straight. When they finally reached someone and demanded the account manager, they were transferred to him. He told them to email him. They asked for his address. He gave them Linda's by mistake. She found out when the client forwarded the complaint directly to the board. I cleaned out my desk on a Thursday afternoon. One of the warehouse supervisors shook my hand and held it a second longer than normal. He did not need to say anything. Linda caught me in the parking lot past 6. She looked like she had not slept since Tuesday. She did not ask how I was doing. She said, "Just tell me where the Callahan files are." I told her I had forwarded the entire archive to Derek on day 1, along with a written summary of every protocol for that account. She closed her eyes. He never opened it. I told her that was not my problem and got in my car. Monday morning, the board showed up unannounced. I was already across town, 2 hours into my first day at the new job, when my phone started moving. 3 calls from Linda, 1 from HR, then a text. They are asking who built the routing system, and nobody can answer. Linda texted a minute later. "The board needs to know who designed the production flow." I replied with 1 word: me. She called immediately. I let it ring. 40 seconds of voicemail. An offer was on the table. She hoped I would have a conversation. She used the word partnership twice. I called back the next morning. She quoted close to double my old salary. I told her I appreciated the call. My new company had matched that number during offer negotiations 2 weeks earlier. Long pause. Then she said, "I see. I heard what happened in that board meeting." Linda stood at the front of the room and explained in real time how a $380,000 order ended up 3 states in the wrong direction, why a 15-year client was threatening to terminate, and why the person who built the entire production infrastructure had walked out 2 weeks prior. The board asked directly whose decision it was to promote Derek. She said it was a collaborative process. Nobody believed her. Derek lasted 11 more days. He did not resign. He stopped showing up. Sent Linda a text on a Wednesday saying the environment was not the right fit for his leadership style. His badge was still on his desk when they cleared out his office. The Callahan account terminated formally 4 weeks later. 2 more clients requested contract reviews within the month. The board brought in an outside consultant to assess the damage. His report described the production floor as critically underdocumented and structurally dependent on a single departing employee. 6 weeks into my new job, my manager forwarded me an inquiry from a former client asking if I was involved in our operations. Then another, then a third. One email said simply, "We heard you left. We would like to follow."